A review of Tualatin High School SIP. My name is Mariana Garcia. Three areas that interested me on this plan were ninth grade attendance, office discipline referrals, and exclusionary practices. For me, these three are interconnected and they align with the equity plan of ensuring engagement for all students regardless of background or ability. When joining this team, I will be working with my colleagues on ninth grade attendance initiatives, implementing systems to identify students with early attendance concerns, for example, absences more than 3 times in the first month of school, and providing immediate support through mentors and counselors to those students. Regularly communicating with our families is also a crucial piece of this job. Communicating with them with a curious approach about the importance of attendance and offering resources or supports for families facing barriers to consistent school attendance, for example, transportation or health concerns, and making sure we are making positive calls and not just punitive to those who are struggling and having their kids attend school. Office discipline referrals. Restorative practices. Having professional development on restorative justice and collaborative problem solving, behavioral support teams, multidisciplinary teams identifying function of the behavior to implement interventions and support for students, equity audits and equity meetings, regularly reviewing discipline data by race, ability, gender, and other factors to identify any disparities, and using the data to make further decisions. Tier behavioral supports, creating systems including universal strategies for all students, targeted support for those at risk, and intensive supports for students with chronic behavioral challenges. All these initiatives are woven together to create educational environments that prioritize engagement, support, and success for all students, contributing to a school culture that values diversity, inclusion, and equity in their education, which will also align with the ninth grade on track goal. Exclusionary practices, restorative alternatives, making sure we are looking at behavior as a means of communication, using first time mistakes as a teachable moment to create awareness and help students grow rather than being excluded or disciplined the first time. Professional development, training our staff on cultural competences, trauma informed practices, and alternative discipline methods. Collaboration with our community partners, for example, our mental health specialist, who can come and support our students who might be at a risk of being excluded due to a behavioral personal challenge. Having clear communication and accountability. Having clear and transparent guidelines for addressing behaviors issues and making sure that they are accessible to all stakeholders, including students, staff, and families, and referring to these policies whenever a problem arises. On page 5 of the SIP, it was detailed when considering student voice data from ninth grade surveys and in consideration of observations and learning walks, it was determined that the root cause of a combination of attendance, engagement, teacher instructional scaffold strategies, and specifically a higher percentage of classroom instructional time dedicated to structured student talk. One potential spot of the current SIP lies on a lack of explicit strategies to make sure students' voice and agency are being captured. Looking at this through the curiosity lens, I wonder, how do students feel about change in grading, instructions, scaffolds, and supports? How are we providing equitable practices for all students to have a voice and sharing their opinions and feelings about change being made? Are students seeing themselves as capable scholars, specifically in core content areas? Does this current plan benefit all students, including those who are marginalized and at a disadvantage? Ideas to consider, increasing opportunities for providing discourse, student focus groups, or reflection panels. Inclusion of diverse voices. These groups can provide opportunities for students from diverse backgrounds and abilities to share their experiences, challenges, and successes in the classroom. Building trust and ownership. Implementing student feedback when considering establishing classroom practices, allowing students to see their voice being heard in the classroom, which will help increase not only equity but also trust between students and staff. Student led data conversations with staff. These conversations can bridge the gap between students and staff, helping create a dialogue around how to best address their needs. Empowerment and agency. Teachers invite students to analyze their work, providing students with valuable skills in self reflection and accountability, fostering ownership and of their education. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I look forward to working with you all.